She's the only one who can teach it. 'Cause of Peach English. Well, she's the only one who can teach it.
Hello, this is PeachCast and I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ian.
And today we're going to talk about population decline in Korea because that's a very serious problem for us. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you want to see subtitles, then please push the CC button on your upper right on the video and then make sure to choose your language for subtitles. Have you ever heard of Korea suffering because of population decline?
I've heard of Korea getting population. It was a problem coming up. I first heard about it really with Japan, a couple, 3-4 years ago. I heard about it a little bit in Japan.
Really? So
It
what do you
happened in
know
Japan.
about Japan?
I know that kind of similar to here, I think now a lot of people aren't having kids. And because of that, the population is declining. Which is causing a lot of problems with businesses and the economy and that sort of thing in general.
Yeah, right. Actually, Korean young people don't want to get kids, don't want to have kids. So it's very serious. What I know of a number is that 0.7 per woman who can get pregnant is our number now. So it's very, very low. So it clearly shows that if this keeps going, then our population will decline for sure.
Why don't they want to have kids, do you think?
I think everything here is too hard and too difficult to survive, I guess.
Yeah.
And the cost of education is so high. And for younger generations, when you see those moms and dads raising their kids with all their efforts and with all their best, but still it's too much for this serious competition, and cost of living and cost of education is too high. Then I personally think myself wow, I can manage myself barely, but how can I have kids and how can I raise them really well? Because if I want to have kids, then I want to raise them really well. But when I see these situations, then probably I can't.
Interesting.
Yeah, or probably I can, but it's going to be really, really hard. So I don't see my future at this point because I'm content with my life right now. But I don't know, but in the on the other side of my mind, I just want to have kids and raise them really well, but I don't know if I can do well. So these I guess these feelings are kind of common among young generations in Korea. And I'm quite hard worker. I'm kind of hardworking person, and still I feel that way. And I don't know, probably it's gonna be too much for pretty much many Koreans, especially younger generations. So yes,
Interesting.
yeah.
'Cause
What?
I originally, 2-3 years ago, I was oh, I'm not going to have kids. I was thinking like that. But then I started being around kids every day.
Okay.
And it made me, I was actually, I think I want kids. And so my complete view on having kids completely changed. So I'm on the opposite side of everyone, I feel here these days.
Okay. So why did you decide, okay, I'm not going to have kids back in 2 to 3 years ago? And then what changed you? Okay, I'm going to have kids.
I guess I just didn't know anything about it. I was I didn't know what it was like. I had no idea of what kids are like. It just seemed super stressful and too much to handle. And so I was just I kind of was immature about it. I'm just not going to do it. But then I started teaching kids and being around kids and, seeing I think talking to kids is more interesting than talking to adults in some ways.
Oh, really?
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Just because their viewpoints are so
pure.
pure
Yeah.
and somewhat creative in a way that, you know, they haven't been like affected by friends or anything like that. They have such a like interesting viewpoint that I enjoy sometimes talking to kids more than I do adults. So because of that reason, just being around kids, I'm like fully like wanting to have kids when I'm, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So,
I get it. So yeah, for me, I wasn't well like this Korean situation. I thought, well, that wasn't for me because probably I thought if I want to have kids, then I can have kids, or if I don't want, then I will not. I thought like that simple way, because that is the social phenomenon, and I can do whatever I want, you know, no matter what the social phenomenon is.
Right.
I thought like that, but you know, as I got older, I just think this having kids thing like more realistically and more seriously, because like, you know, like later like periods that I can't have kids are not left much. So I need to think about it like very seriously, you know. And I talk about this with my friends a lot as well, nowadays especially. So we talk about like how well prepared we can be as a parent, or you know, how we can manage like all those education fees and stuff, and what kind of environment we will have for our kids, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
So it gets me like really seriously, but that makes me more complicated in a way. Like I was like a girl like thinking simply like, oh, this kid is so cute, so I want to have kids, but it's not simple like that, you know. So I'm kind of like more complicated phase regarding this problem. So I can understand both, you know. So
Why do you think kids are so expensive? Just curious.
because like I think it's part of because of this Korea's very competitive background, you know, because I went through that competitive process of education, and I don't know, I barely survived it, I guess. But it was really hard, and I know, and I saw my parents like really struggled, you know, to make me and my sister grow really well, you know. And I'm not as much confident as my parents because they were really hardworking, they were devoting, and they were in the phase of like growth of Korean economy. But I am millennial, and I'm just not as confident as my parents, you know. So yeah, and for thinking about future, I'm hopeful, but you never know. So what if I cannot support my kids well enough, or what if like I'm not gonna be a good mom as my mom, you know, like that kind of makes me fear. So I don't know. So it's very complicated.
Yeah. I think that kids are like, because you see people have families in like super poor areas in like, you know, wherever in the world, right? They have 3-4 kids and they can like, you know, so I'm like, maybe I'm thinking more like, I guess you're thinking of like preparation, right? That sort of thing, right? That's kind of how you're thinking. So I can see that for sure. But yeah, I'm kind of like, for me, I'm not too concerned about like, oh, I need to make sure he gets the best of the best, because it's like, you know, if I raise him well, then I'm sure he'll just figure out the best, to be honest, right? So I'm like, you know, a kid can have 2 t-shirts and some pants, and he can live, right?
Yeah.
I think like that a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, he'll have a t-shirt. He can give his t-shirts to his brother. He can, she can, that's kind of how I think. So I'm more of like, just kind of like figure it out on the fly, maybe a little bit.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that way of thinking can make you have kids, I guess. Because like if you think like me, it's too complicated. So probably you cannot do because of fear or worries.
Right. You're thinking of like the whole big picture thing.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense in a way because I see a lot of my friends already having kids when they were like very, very young, you know. But, their kids are like 10 years old, 8 years old, and, they're growing well. So probably just like, like there's no such thing like being a perfect parent,
Yeah.
You can't just like be a mom or dad and then try to be a perfect parent from there, not like before.
Right.
Like I think like this, So yes.
Yeah. So it is a one of those things that like it was interesting because I was like, man, I didn't want to have kids. I was so kind of like everything. I was like, oh my god, I gotta like pay for the food and all these things and all this stuff, and oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. I don't want to think about it. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so, but then I was just like, you know what? Like, if I'm sure if I just have good intentions and I do the right thing and be a good role model in a way, I'm pretty positive it would turn out just fine.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I started thinking.
Yes. Yes. Right.
So do you think social media might have had is causing a problem with this maybe?
Yeah, I think social media is a big problem of like the situation because everyone shows their best moment in social media, right? So, but people don't think like that way, like they think like, why can I be like that? Why can't I be like that, And why can't I give my kids those things, So that made us to compare many things with others. So probably that kind of like bothers our happiness or our satisfaction in terms of family and love. We can be still happy with our family and with our love, but still like if you cannot stop comparison, that makes you like unhappy. So I think one of those like big reasons why Korean people don't want to have kids is that we compare.
Like their kid to this kid and that sort of thing.
Yes, and like if this kid goes to abroad for education, but what if I don't have any money to send them to abroad for their English education or whatever, or like best 학원, like that some few students can go to. What if I can't afford? Like that kind of fear makes people okay. Maybe I'm not gonna have kids because I'm not confident to give my kids like those many things, So probably that's one of the reasons, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it is a interesting problem that's kind of occurring these days. And what do you think? Can you think of a solution for it, or what do you think might be a solution for the problem?
I don't know. If
Yeah.
I knew that, then I'm gonna be the minister. But
Because it's not easy.
but what about like America? I'm kind of curious because like America doesn't seem to have this kind of problem. So
Oh, we're getting political a little bit. It's weird. In bigger cities, it's a slight bigger issue, but in like countryside, in the countryside, and like usually I've noticed like places with like a lot of like religious people, it's not a problem at all. Like the Mormons, the Mormons?
oh yeah,
The
I've
Mormons are
heard.
like they're pumping out babies like it's no tomorrow.
really.
Oh yeah. They have like 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've noticed with like religious families a lot of the time, usually like it's not an issue. which is interesting. But I've noticed in like bigger cities, usually there's less family vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Korea.
Kinda.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you think why the reason is?
Why? I think people are too focused on their personal goals. So they're trying to do so much in their current life that they're like, oh, I'm not ready for kids. I'm not ready for kids. I have to do more. Okay, now I'm ready. It's kind of like, because I think when they think they have kids, they need to stop all kind of achievements, like life achievements. I think they feel they have to put that on the back burner, put that on the side and focus on the kid. Where I think maybe I'm just like, I think actually it's the opposite. When you have a kid, you need to be more achieving, because now you're showing the kid the method of life that they need to pursue. You're kind of being like a role model for that kid. So I'm kind of like the opposite a little bit.
Yeah, and you actually need to support them as well. You know, like before that, then you need to just support yourself. But, you know, like after having kids, you need to support them as well. So there are more people, they need your support. So you need to be more responsible. So I think in that way, you know, like many people say if you become a parent, then you will be more mature, and you will be like a real person or something, you know, like, so I agree with the sentence in a way that you get more responsible, because before having kids, like, you need to just focus on yourself. But you know, after having kids, then you need to be responsible for them, for your whole lifetime, you know. So it sometimes feels like so much burden. It sometimes feels like probably that's like what humans need to do, you know. Like,
Right.
yeah, so
It is kind of like, I've heard so many people say that have kids, like it was the best thing they've ever done.
yeah.
I've heard it so, like, I think almost every person said that.
Yeah, I've heard it from my mom and dad as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So,
So, I mean, there's something to be said there for sure. And I think it's part of like, it's like very natural part of life in a way too, having a kid. So it seems like you're almost missing out a little bit if you don't, you know, because that's kind of like what we're like made to do in life. If you know what I mean.
But you know, think like we Koreans call it 딩크족. 족 means tribe. So 딩크 tribe is kind of trendy here
really?
in Korea. Yes.
So what does that mean?
Double income, no kids. So they marry, but they have no kids, and they just like live their life together for forever. You know. So that's called
I
dink.
see.
And yeah, and it's very trendy here in Korea. And I respect their decision, and I respect their lifestyle. But like, I think like I'm kind of like, I don't know, like sarcastic in a way. Like, is it really possible, like, to have a relationship forever without kids? That's basically like dating, but with like contract, you know. But you know, like that's possible if that's a true love. But you know, like I many times observed that many couple is still like managing, and it's still established because of their kids as well, you know, because they become family, you know. So if basically that's a dating, like, then you know you can break up, you can break up anytime, you know. So I'm kind of sarcastic, but I don't know if that's possible. That's good for them, because that they found their true love, you know. But yeah, I don't know.
It is interesting, and I think having kids is like a pretty, like, it's got to be a good thing of life, probably. I feel like so.
Yeah. Recently, my cousins had kids like a year ago or 2 years ago, so they're like little babies. So they're about my age. Like, one cousin is just 1 year older than me, and one cousin is the same age with me. So before them having kids. I just had like this fake ideas of like having kids and probably not having kids, you know. But after seeing them and after seeing them raising their kids, like that kind of affected me a lot. Like, wow, like they seem truly happy, even though they're really having tough times, not sleeping and everything. But still, like they seem like they are achieving like this life's destiny, or you know, like their, I don't know, their duties. But I don't know, then what am I doing? You know, like I'm hardworking, but it's for myself. But I feel like probably there are some things that I need to do like bigger than myself, you know? Like I don't know it's gonna be my family or it's gonna be this society, but still I feel like I should do more. Yeah. So
Yeah. If you were to have kids, how many kids would you want?
I originally wanted to have kids, like 2 kids, because I and my sister, like we had this like very good, perfect relationships as siblings. So, and I really liked having my little sister as my sibling for my whole life. So, and I feel like she's my best friend, you know, so I don't need to worry about not having any best friend forever, because like she's always my best friend. So it's very comforting in a way, and it's very happy, you know. So I want my kids to feel the same way. So yeah, I felt, yeah, probably I'm gonna have like 2 kids. What about you?
Well, I was originally 0 kids, but
Yeah,
now I'm
yeah.
more on like the more the better.
The more the better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pass the clothes down. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. And I do think at the end of the day, everyone thinks they know what's best. And I think everyone's style is different too.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's like, oh, you got to do it this way. Everyone has like a different way of doing it. So
Yeah. Yeah. You're
I've
right.
noticed that.
You're right. I just want myself to be a good parent if I become one day, you know. So I'm not going to be sad because I cannot support them enough, you know. So I just want to be that mom. So
Nice. Just kind of like guide them in the right direction type thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll just be giving t-shirts. Here you go.
Okay.
You can use that for 2
To
weeks.
4 kids.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
pass it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah,
too
yeah.
big. Okay, here's a new shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of just, you know, being dramatic a little bit.
Yeah. but that was really funny. Yeah, that was really fun.
So,
okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think one last thing. I think when you're with when you're with someone with the kids, it's important you both agree on like the method you choose to raise the kid.
Yeah,
That's-
right,
Yeah, 'cause
right,
you're kind of
right,
like a team a little bit.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna wrap up our podcast here
Yes.
today and make subscribe. 이한이 말할래?
Yes, make sure to subscribe, and we hope you enjoyed. And maybe let us know in the comments what you think about the having kids and what it looks like for the future in your eyes. So let us know. So
Okay.
we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Peach, peach,